I know a couple of our agents have received multiple offers on their listings just yesterday, and both of them had questions on how to handle it. So I wanted to go ahead and address that with the whole brokerage. As you know, this market is nothing like we've ever seen before. In houses that they're listed correctly, they are going in a matter of days, if not sooner than that. And so we need to be sure and be prepared. How do we handle these tough situations? Everybody likes hearing multiple offer situations on the listing side, but no one likes to hear it on the buyer side. So we need to be sure that we handle it effectively and appropriately so that way these buyers that get upset, that get invested in the property, that submit what they feel like is their best offer, they don't submit a report on us to the Georgia Real Estate Commission. So I'm going to just share a few tips that I do, and it's going to help you navigate through this tough time. So first, as multiple offers come in, parties need to be notified. You have to notify everybody. So what happens is an agent tries to get out there first, they'll submit the offer first, and then they're going to pry on our emotions and say, well, we were the first one in, that's the first offer. If you're anticipating multiple offers, go ahead and prepare your seller and say, listen, there's probably going to be multiple offers, and this is how we're going to handle it. And then as multiple offers come in, you have to communicate with both agents so they can communicate with their buyers, so we're all on the same page. What if you've ever been in a multiple offer situation where the listing agent hasn't communicated, it gets very dicey and it can get emotional very quick. And the last thing that we want to do is to have an emotional buyer file something with the Georgia Real Estate Commission. So notify all parties. The second thing that you need to do, you need to be sure that they're notified in writing. A phone call is not good enough. An email will suffice, or a text message. Email, I will text the agent, but I always follow up with an email to the offer that they sent. So they've sent over an offer email. I respond back to that. Hi, Cody. I just wanted you to be aware that we are in a multiple offer situation. The seller has requested X. And that's what we're going to talk about next. We need to go on to FMLS, and we need to go on to Georgia MLS, and we need to update our private remarks. We need to let agents know that are showing, that are going to be potentially showing, or that are going to schedule appointments, know that there are multiple offers on the table. Sometimes this drives people away. Sometimes this brings people in and they are going to submit their highest and best offer. But you have to let people know, otherwise your phone's going to be blowing up. Second, we need to set a timeline or a deadline. Now, this is going, if you have a very hot property where you already have showings scheduled for the next couple of days, for some reason they couldn't get there on the first day of market, you want to give time to these other buyers to get out there. So I typically go with a 48 to 72 hour window. That means if we went live Monday, we have 3 offers in hand. I'm going to do a highest and best called for by Wednesday at 7 p.m. or Thursday at 7 p.m. It really depends on how many showings that you have scheduled and how far in advance they are doing. So you can get away with 2, but you could also do 3 if you want to extend it out. I will say the longer you extend it out, the more potential offers that come in, which means it gets a little dicier to make sure that you present everything correctly to the seller. So you have to communicate that with the agents if you're doing a highest and best situation. If you are proceeding forward and wanting to give more time for buyers to get more offers in, everybody has to be communicated with. That needs to be in your private remarks as well. Highest and best due by Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's got to be explicit. It's got to be clear. That way they can never come back to you and say, well, Cody never told us it was highest and best. I didn't know that. My client really wanted the house. Now the client's upset at Cody. Third, when you're getting these offers, what I've done here in the past is I create a folder on my desktop and I download all of the offer documents straight from their email and put it in there in the folder, and then I label it offer 1 Cody, offer 2 Sarah. So that way when I go back and I'm presenting all of these offers to the seller, I've got them in order as they've come in, and I've also made sure that I've got all the documents. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to confirm receipt of those offers so they know that I have it and they will be presented. One thing that I do, you decide how you want to do it. If we disclose and we share with these agents that we are going to have a highest and best, all offers will be presented at this time, then we have the ability to hold those offers and present them at one time. What good is it going to do for us to be able to present offer one when it came in on day one, second hour, and then I'm going to be presenting offers throughout the next few days. So I personally, because I've communicated with the listing agent, I can personally go through and share the offers at one time. So that would be Wednesday at 7:30 or whenever we have our call. And then we go through each offer and we diagnose each offer. What I also do before I ever present to the seller, I'm going to create either a spreadsheet or I'm going to have a notebook in front of me with all of the offers broken out. So offer one, purchase price, closing costs, due diligence, closing date, any special steps. Offer two, I'm going to do that for the same one. And then I'm going to go through and make notes. So as I'm going through with the seller, we're just going to touch the highlights. Obviously, we want to make sure that they're pre-approved. We want to check their appraisal contingency. We want to check their due diligence. We want to check all those things, but we want to do it ahead of time so that way if the seller asks us a question, we're already prepared for it and we're able to give them advice on which offer that we think we should get. Now, we've presented the offers to the seller. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have to make a decision. The seller can choose one. They have the option to have a backup offer in hand if that buyer chooses to be a backup. They may not. And then you're going to let every single agent know that an offer has been accepted and thank them for their time and their effort for submitting an offer and thank their client for their interest in the home. Now, I will tell you one situation I had where an investor was going to come in. It was a cash offer. They were going to buy the house, use it as a rental. HOA said no. I had to go through my seller chose that offer. My seller chose the cash offer. I called them. You have to verify that your buyer is still interested, by the way. So I called that buyer's agent and said, "Hey, so great news. My seller accepted your contract. Yeah, that expired a day ago. So we're out." I called another one. This is another investor. Yeah, we're out. We can't have tenant in there. So be sure that before you notify everybody, check with the agent that submitted the offer that the seller has selected that they are indeed still interested. And then from there, you can go and notify the backup offer if the seller chooses to do that. And then you have to let everybody know. Make sure that you send it out in the email. You can also text them as well, but it has to be in writing, and you want to make sure that you protect yourself from the public. Just handle it how you would want it handled if you were in a multiple offer situation and you were purchasing the home. Over communicating is always better than under communicating.